Afternoon, everybody. It is June the 12th. Please excuse the poor video quality. My camera is in the back of my Volkswagen that's getting an oil change right now. But at least there's still a video, and at least you can still hear me, hopefully, I think.
I have to wait for it to load up.
I guess we'll figure it out. Hopefully you can hear us out there. If you're following us live, it is because of Restream.io, and on the website Restream, it takes what I'm recording here and broadcasts it on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. And the Facebook account and Twitch account are at SSB Tabernacle. The YouTube account is Andy Liberty UO, and the Twitter account is at boring_plain. This is Scriptural Salvation Baptist Tabernacle. My name is Andy. You may recognize me because I moonlight every other week on Sunday morning at Oneida Lake Congregational Church. So you can catch us at either place or right here on the internet. Thank you, World Wide Web. In front of me, on my left, I have Richard. And on my right, I have Paul. Right in between them is Sweetheart Doggy. To my right in the chair is Steve. My wife Liz is in camera over there. We have baby Leah and Hannah. We have Jacob and Grace. We're all sitting here in the living room. I'm going to grab the volume control so we're able to hear. We're going to meander through here. Pardon the tight shot of my belly. Yeah. Oh, good. Good, we have sound, so. I mean, the other camera and mic are better, but. And without further ado, the first song we're going to listen to today to get us ready for worship is the song Yahweh, or Signature of Divine, by Need to Breathe. So let's get that ready to go. It's the Signature of Divine. Pretty sure I'm going to turn volume up here.
Cathedrals have tried in vain to show the image of your face, but we are by your design, the signature of divine. We'll always sing your name forever and this day. Yahweh, Yahweh, praise your glory when you go before me. Oh, we sing, holy, holy, your ways are lovely, so high above me. Yahweh. When you
start off your service. It is a Monday afternoon here, and with that, we will be continuing our lesson in the book of Numbers. We are on Numbers chapter 6. So without further ado, let's get started. Numbers chapter 6. We've been reading along in Psalm number 78, and so far we've done 5 out of the 6 parts of it. It's 72 verses long. We've read through 60 of them, and now we're going to finish off this psalm with verses 61 through 72.
And delivered his power to captivity, his glory to the hand of the foe.
7, 8.
I got 78.
Okay.
He gave his people over to the sword and vented
Oh my.
I got
his
67.
wrath on his heritage. Close.
Fire devoured their young men, and their young women had no marriage song. The priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation.
Very good. So in the Old Testament, there is a book of the Bible called Lamentation, and a lamentation is a very sad song you sing when you're in mourning.
Little throat.
Okay, no.
Then the Lord awoke from sleep.
Sleep.
Hey, let me try that again.
All calm down.
Let me try that. Then the Lord woke from sleep like a strong man shouting because of wine, and he put his
Adversaries.
adversaries to
Route.
He put them to
Everlasting.
everlasting shame.
So you have seen that word before. Okay. I don't know why you were so nervous that time. He rejected the tent of Joseph. He did not choose the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which he loves.
I'm just gonna let you guys know I don't need help on this.
Okay.
Good for you. He built his sanctuary like the high heavens, like the earth which he has found forever. He chose David, his servant, and took him from the sheepfold.
Very good, Grace.
Through following and nursing ewes, he brought him to shepherd Jacob his people. Israel, his inheritance. With upright heart, he shepherded them and guided them with a skillful hand. What kind of word is shepherd?
When you act like you're a shepherd to somebody, you are shepherding them.
It sounds weird. Shepherded.
So the Lord is our shepherd.
Yeah.
That's what they were trying to convey there. We will listen to Numbers 6, verses 1 through 4. Numbers 6, 1 through 4. when either a man or a woman makes a special vow. I've mentioned this a few times that in the Bible, vows were very important. They were golden. They were something that you took, you did not break, you had to live by them. They were your word, they were everything that was important. You do not break them, you hold them sacred, and you fulfill them at all costs. And what Numbers 6 here, what it does, is it sets up a special type of vow that either a man or a woman can take, and then it'll fill in what this vow entails. The vow of a Nazirite to separate himself to the Lord. Now, you may have heard Jesus referred to as a Nazarene. Nazareth was a town. Nazarene comes from Nazareth, the town. Nazirite comes from the Hebrew word to separate. So they're not the same thing. So a Nazirite is not a Nazarene. Jesus was not a Nazirite. He was a Nazarene. It's confusing. They are different words. John the Baptist was a Nazirite. Jesus was a Nazarene. Okay. Now, Nazirite means separation. In Numbers 5, we were talking about separation, separating out those that were sick, so taking all sin out of the camp, using confession to make things right and to repair relationships, and about the jealousy that comes with adultery and how you fix that. You throw your wife off a cliff, right? Wait, no, that wasn't it. It was
What?
no, it was. Yeah, that's right. That was in Hammurabi.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Anyway, the Bible had a different method. Yeah, I get those confused. Anyway, but here, the people are given a special vow that they can take as a lifestyle so that they can dedicate themselves to the Lord and become a Nazirite. And Nazirites are forbidden from drinking wine, any strong drink, so beer or any other type of liquor. They're prevented from even using vinegar that's made from wine. So there's white wine vinegar, you can't even use that. They're not allowed to drink grape juice, eat grapes, or even raisins. Nazirite is a very special vow where you have to dedicate and make sacrifices in your life. And so if you like eating raisins and drinking grape juice and cooking with white wine vinegar, being a Nazirite is not the vow for you. It's similar to a priest, but it's more extreme. When you're a priest, you're not allowed to drink on the job. When you're a Nazirite, you're not allowed to drink at all. You're not even allowed to go near grapes. What Nazirite does is it gives people something to strive for. It takes an extreme lifestyle. People will vow to live like that, and it gives them something that they can do to be more thankful for what the Lord gives them. Now, there's a character in the Bible named Samson. You may have heard of him. He was extremely strong, and he grew his hair out, and when they cut his hair, he lost his strength. He was a Nazirite. And then the prophet Samuel, who there are 2 books of the Bible named after him, 1st and 2nd Samuel, very creative with that naming, he was a Nazirite. And Samuel was the prophet that put King David on the throne. So he was a Nazirite as well. But it gives people, the regular Israelite that's not a priest and isn't special by birth, it allows them to make a commitment in their lives to show that they have special dedication. So they would take the vow to become a Nazirite and give it a try. And when you start off with you're not allowed to go near wine, even touch grapes, or eat raisins, that makes it tough to start with in ancient Israel because grapes and stuff off the vine was very important to their life. Now we will listen to verses 5 through 8. Verses 5 through 8. 5
forget that he put down.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. All the days of his vow of separation, no razor shall touch his head. So the Nazirite would never get a haircut or even wash or comb their hair as they were Nazirites. They would just let it grow wild. And this was to symbolize that they were in the vow of being a Nazirite. Their uncut hair grown long was an outward symbol of them being the Nazirite. So we talked about how Nazirite was like being a priest. Well, a priest had very special rules on how they had to do their hair. A Nazirite had to have his hair grow wild, so he had to look out of control. Or if a woman became a Nazirite, they would wear their hair down so that you knew that they were Nazirites. Women in ancient Israel wore their hair up so that head lice didn't spread around. He shall not go near a dead body. Now, priests weren't allowed to go near dead bodies unless it was their close family. If it was a funeral at their close family, a priest could go near a dead body. But a Nazirite, complete prohibition. Nowhere near that dead body. Not even for his father, for his mother, for brother, or sister. Kind of reminds me of that commercial a few years ago where the little dog was sitting in the camp singing, "Father, mother, sister, brother." And it's the flea protection. Anyway. So what this is to emphasize that a Nazirite was similar to being a priest, but had more restrictions added up. Very good, Richard. I like that. I was going to use prohibitions again, but I don't like to use the same word. Thank you, with the source. So a Nazirite is like a priest plus. A priest isn't allowed to drink on the job, but a Nazirite isn't allowed to drink at all. A priest has special things for his hair. A Nazirite grows it out wild. A priest can't touch a body, but if it's his family, he can. A Nazirite can't go near a dead body at all.
I would hate that.
The priests were allowed to go near the bodies of their close family, whereas a Nazirite was not.
No.
When Jesus had his disciples, he was calling people to him, and one of the people that was going to follow him said, "Well, I will follow you, but let me go back and bury my relative." Jesus said, "Let the dead bury themselves." He was saying, you don't worry about it, let somebody else do it, because you have to worry about what's important. You have to worry about following me. It's also the same as saying, don't worry about the past. The person is dead. Let somebody else take care of it and you live your life. The Nazirite was the same way. They weren't supposed to worry about the people that were gone out of their lives. Dead bodies were very unclean things.
And well, they're dead.
Yes, Richard. So when it comes to drinking, not at all. Let their hair grow out. Not allowed to go near dead bodies. It allowed the normal Israelite to serve and to show their devotion, to take a vow to try something to get close to the Lord, and that's what a Nazirite was about. So so some people may look at this and go, "Wow, a Nazirite is like a monk." Well, no.
No.
Because a monk, by their very nature, live in their monkdoms off, and they're reclusive, and they take vows of silence, and they take vows of abstinence, and they pray 3,000 times a day, and they eat half a loaf of bread for a month, and they're just known for taking all these different vows. Whereas a Nazirite lived right out with everybody else. They lived a normal life, but they had to abide by no drinking, no grapes, no dead bodies, and letting their hair grow out. So they were living examples of people that took special vows to the people around them. So, though a Nazirite is a priest plus. But anybody could be a Nazirite, but not everybody be a priest. You had to be born into the priesthood. We listen to verses 9 through 12. Okay, Richard. In there are 2 cups of coffee left. Can you bring one of them in here for Steve, please?
Stay. You stay.
Thanks, Steve.
Bringing coffee.
Yes, Richard. You got it? Okay. No, just one of them.
Yeah. This is
Yours. All right.
yeah.
Hey, Steve. I got that for you. I forgot to give it to you. Okay. If any man dies very suddenly beside him, and he defiles his consecrated head. So, the Nazirite is out and about, and he's visiting his parents in the old age home, and the neighbor just suddenly drops dead next to him. It's an accident, right? He's near a dead body, but it's accident. It's not his fault, right? Well, then he shall shave his head on the day of his cleansing, because his vow is over. Even though there was a complete accident, somebody dropped dead near the Nazirite, and it was something completely unplanned, and there was nothing he could do about it, it still makes it so the Nazirite defiles his vow, and his vow is over, and he has to go through a ritual to end it. He has to start all over again, even though it's an accident. And what this does is it conveys how serious this vow is. It conveys that the Nazirite isn't taking this lightly, even though it was a complete accident and somebody dropped dead next to him and he came near a dead body. He still has to completely start over.
Does he have to die for it?
He doesn't have to die for it.
No,
But-
it's not cutting.
So there are stories in old Jewish books of people who started a Nazirite vow of 7 years, and they made it to 6 years and 11 months, and somebody died near them, and they had to start completely over again. From the beginning, that 6 years and 11 months doesn't count for anything. They have to do a ceremony and start all over again. They have to. So, it is serious. It's something you don't take lightly. The Nazirite lifestyle is just something that you don't just one day say, you know what, I quit, forget it. No, you entered into this vow, you need to complete it, even if there's an accident like somebody dropping dead right near you. So then they took
Excuse me.
different animals, and they offer one of them for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering.
Easy face.
When you offer an animal for a sin offering, it's admitting your fault, because there's always sin. When you make a burnt offering, you're burning the animal completely, you're starting over, it's a complete renewal. So the Nazirite is making 2 offerings. He's admitting his fault because he has sinned, and there was a dead body near him. He didn't fulfill what the vow told him to do, and he's offering a burnt offering to start things completely over again. and bring a male lamb a year old for a guilt offering. Now, what a guilt offering is, that we learned in Leviticus, was admitting that you had done something wrong and renewing your relationship with the Lord. So he has to admit his fault, renew his relationship, and then make a guilt offering admitting that he had done something wrong. His guilt offering is about reparations, atonement, and reconciliation. It's reconciling with the Lord, needing to start over. You're starting the relationship of the Nazirite vow completely again. We listen to verses 13 through 17 now. Oh, my Volkswagen's done. Hold on a second, everybody. Hello? Yep. Alright, I'll come grab it in the morning. Yep, bye.
But we,
Alright.
you
It's
get,
alright, we thrive and survive here. We didn't have the camera and we lived, so not a big deal. Alright, so verses 13 through 17 first. So let's start with those. Okay. So what we have here is at the end of the Nazirite vow. So you make a Nazirite vow. They couldn't be under a year long. They had to be at least a year. And they could be up to, well, to the year of Jubilee. So, 49 years long. But when they were done, you had a public ceremony. And this is similar to when you choose to be baptized to show that you're a brand new creature. That's a public ceremony so that everybody can see. When you have communion and you take the body and the bread of the Lord and the wine and the bread, that's a public ceremony. And like a graduation, when you graduate and you receive your diploma for your years of work at school, it's another public ceremony. Well, the Nazirite is something that shows everybody that you completed your vow of service. Except, when you complete the Nazirite vow, you bring 2 lambs, a ram, a basket of unleavened bread, and drink offerings. This is expensive and extensive. It shows your appreciation for the vow period. You couldn't just enter into the Nazirite vow with no money at all, because at the end of it, you needed to be prepared to offer these offerings. It was part of being a Nazirite. You had to have full committal. Your vow meant nothing if there was no ceremony like this at the end of it. So you could do your entire, say you did a 20-year Nazirite vow, you did all 20 years, but you don't have any money and you can't bring the 2 lambs, the ram, the basket of unleavened bread, and the drink offerings, you did really complete your Nazirite vow. So maybe we should turn this idea into what people should do for graduation. You go to school commit for your years of schooling. You learn. You become educated. You learn to learn new things, and you learn to thrive in society. But at the end, you give back and appreciate what you've done at your graduation ceremony by doing what the Nazirites had to do and sacrifice things. Once again, they have to give a sin offering, and a sin offering is where you admit that you've been guilty, because everybody has sinned. Romans 6 told us all have sinned. And a peace offering isn't you're looking for peace, it's you enjoy the peace that comes with God. So you know that you're guilty of sin, and you're celebrating the peace that his life gives you. Now we will listen to verses 18 through 21. Verses 18 through 21. Alright, we're almost there. Bear with me.
Did you ever get home so I can after this?
No, he said he was going to get tomorrow.
And the Nazirite shall shave his consecrated head. When his vow is complete, he shaves the hair off that had grown in during his Nazirite vow. You only shave if there's failure or completion. We talked about failure earlier. If somebody dropped dead near you, you'd shave your hair off and start all over again. But this ties into when we talked about separating for disease earlier. Those that were put out of the camp that had leprosy, if they were ever cleared of leprosy, they had their heads shaved because they were clean again. The same thing with a Nazirite. The Nazirite hair was then taken and it was put on the fire that is under the sacrifice. So you took your hair and you burned it. And it was symbolic. The burn was a reminder of the vow that you took. The vow is clear. And during the burning, it reminds you that you're done of the Nazirite vow. All the time that you spent in it, the sacrifices you had to make, now it's all over with. The diseased, those that were living in sin, those that had leprosy, and the Nazirite are set apart from the main camp. They're different from your regular Israelite. But when things were done and they had completed their vow, they shaved their heads as a public reminder that they had completed this vow or that they had lived through leprosy and they were clean. It was a symbol. So after the animals are all sacrificed and the hair is burned, the priest takes a portion of the sacrifices. So this is how the priests lived in ancient Israel. When people came in to make their different sacrifices, the priests got a portion of it. So they had food to live off of. And then the Nazirite took what was his portion, and kind of throws a mini feast. And at the end of the feast it says, after that the Nazirite may drink wine. So for how long the Nazirite does his feast or his vow where he's not allowed to go near grapes, wine, vinegar, anything, it's all over, he has a big feast. He can drink wine again, symbolizing that his sacrifice is over. His feast that he has is showing that he has a fellowship with the Lord. You're showing that you have a relationship with God and that it's strong, and drinking the wine shows that your vow is complete. The Nazirites and their vows and the special things that they could do were just a way for a normal Israelite citizen to show that they loved God, they loved the things that he did for them, and that they loved him as much as, say, a priest does. And it was a way of denying yourself some things, making some sacrifices, and living up to something that a contract that you set your mind to. How strong is your will to do something for somebody that you love? That's what the Nazirite vow was all about. And now we've made it to number 6, 22 through 27. And this part may sound familiar. Just letting everybody know. Numbers 6, 22 through 27. Okay. Like I said, that may sound familiar because I've used that before as a benediction at the end of several church services. But that's where this comes from, this chapter on Nazirites. So,
Interesting.
well, not quite done yet.
Just read half on my song.
Then, thus you shall bless the people of Israel. So in the Bible, there are not many recorded or prayers that are meant to be repeated word for word. You have this blessing here, and you have the Lord's Prayer later on that we hear when we're praying at the Oneida Lake Church. This blessing was spoken at the end of tabernacle services, temple services, synagogue meetings, for special reasons, because the Lord wanted to bless all of Israel. But the reason that there aren't that many recorded or repeated prayers in the Bible is because free prayer that comes from your heart is best. The Lord bless you and keep you. Now, see how many times, I've underlined the word you here, see how many times that the Lord says that he wants to bless you and do things to you. He wants to bless us. He wanted to bless Abraham. He blessed Jacob. Jacob had a lot of material things. All those sheep, all those wonderful things happened to him. The Lord wants to bless us.
He also blessed Isaac.
Yes, Paul. But when it comes to keep you, the Lord wants to keep you so that you're not worried about other things. But some people are kept by other things, such as anger, greed, coveting, vengeance, worrying about what other people are doing, not worrying about themselves and their relationship with God. God wants to bless you and to keep your focus on him. He wants to give you those things. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. When we first met Moses, and he goes up and he talks to the burning bush, and at one point Moses is sitting in his tent after he came down from the mountain, his face was shining. And Jesus has an instance where he's talking to the disciples, and his face shines as bright as the sun. The very thing that led the Israelite camps at night is a pillar of fire. These are all things that have in common with shining like the sun. It's right here in the blessing. The Lord wants his face to shine upon you. When the Lord addresses people, he addresses them and uses his fire because it's a symbol of purity. It's a symbol of being refined by the fire. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So lifting up his countenance is taking his face and always watching after you and making sure that you're okay. Right here you have the word gracious or grace, and right in the next line you have the word peace. When ancient Israelites would say goodbye to somebody, they would say grace and peace to you. That was their farewell. Right here in the blessing, it's gracious and peace. 3 times it says, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. The Lord lift up his countenance. So he will do these things, but then who's he doing it to? You. I underlined everywhere where it says you in this blessing. These things will happen to you. We have one more song. This is something new that I've never tried before, so we'll give it a shot. This is called Glorious Day by Casting Crowns. Hold on a second. I forgot to prepare one thing, so you're going to see me get close to the computer.
Want me to hit the button?
Video
or...
again. No, Richard, that's not going to do anything. I don't need you to do that.
Oh.
All right, thank you. But I do. Great. I forgot to prepare the audio for the song. We're going to get an ad before the song starts, of course.
Oh, there it is right there.
Well, hold on, Richard. Yeah, sorry, people. Yep. I knew that would happen. Okay. Okay. All right.
How do you go the other way?
No, just let him pass behind me. Okay. Paul, pay attention to the baby. Dog, sit back down. All right. Glorious Day by Casting Crowns. We're almost there, everybody. Don't fall apart now. Okay. Casting Crowns was the group that did that.
Is that one of the older songs that we have? No?
No, that's pretty new.
Oh, okay.
That one's pretty new. I just heard it not that long ago. And we will finish. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the Nazirite striving to make their life separate from everybody else. It was something that the normal Israelite could do, make a vow to become a Nazirite. But the blessing that came at the end of it wasn't for the Nazirites. It wasn't for the people that completed the Nazirite vow. The Aaron's blessing, and that was at the end of this chapter, was for all Israelites, reminding them no matter whether they were priests, whether they had taken the Nazirite vow, or whether they were a normal Israelite, they were blessed because they came from Abraham. And with that, I have to end on the benediction that comes to us from Numbers 6:24 and 26 that we just read through. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.